If you know your worth, that Jesus died for you, and that you are special, don't drop your tools and run away. Time to explore deeper. The megachurch Lakewood Church is famous for its faith and wealth. But everything shining has degrees, and rumors circulate that the most famous U.S. preacher's wife has warned everyone. Could this news bring down his kingdom and cause many doubt their faith? Behind his beautiful looks and million-dollar smile, what lies does he hide? Read about Joel Osteen's controversial preaching and his wife's shocking last words. Joel Osteen's longtime preaching has naturally reached many, including Reverend Michael Horton. Hearing Joel Osteen's talk for the first time made him shake his head in amazement. Horton, a distinguished Westminster Seminary theology professor, found Osteen's message troubling. The watered-down Christianity read like a self-help sermon rather than spiritual guidance. He compares Osteen's lessons to a fluffy, sugary dessert that looks beautiful but doesn't represent anything. That didn't matter if you don't improve. It was a serious challenge to one of America's most prominent preachers. Horton worried mainly about Osteen's Bible reading and use. Osteen reads Bible verses like fortune cookies without interpreting them. Horton said Osteen boasts miracles but lacks spiritual depth. Horton claims Osteen's religious views are hazardous. The message of Osteen is not spiritual progress and wisdom. Instead, use faith to achieve your goals. He ignores essential Christian concepts like sin, suffering, salvation, and personal growth by focusing on good things. Horton boldly termed it heresy, a powerful religious term. He claimed Christians don't trust Osteen's claim that God wants to help people live their best lives now. Horton believes this makes religion more about getting what you want than getting closer to God. Different philosophers have the same concerns. They claim Osteen simplifies spiritual concepts and motivational language. He writes and preaches about happy stories, which attracts readers, but he avoids deeper Christian ideas. What makes Osteen controversial is how he communicates. His church services are more like rock concerts. It feels more like a show than a chance to contemplate about your spiritual life due to the bright lights, lack of religious symbols, and clean setting. Osteen's case is clear. He wants a simple, uplifting word. He believes people don't appreciate being put down and that his approach inspires and motivates them. He predicted failures, traitors, and injustices will occur. How you handle these mistakes and hurts will determine whether you move on to God's new plans or stay stuck and furious about what didn't work out. Horton and other philosophers argue that this method of teaching can harm rather than benefit and lead to misunderstandings about faith. The criticism goes beyond intellectuals. By disregarding concerns, progress, and spiritual issues, many religious experts believe Osteen is conveying a poor message. Many argue his method oversimplifies human nature, which is that positive thinking can fix any issues. Despite negative press, Osteen remains famous. His shows draw millions, and his books always sell well. It illustrates how popular the issue is. What do you think of his approach? Does it indicate a faith issue today? Reverend Horton and others aren't simply targeting Osteen. They oppose a larger religious tendency that prioritizes comfort over purpose and fun over spiritual advancement. Their message is straightforward. Faith is more than nice thoughts. To grow spiritually, be honest and face reality. As theologians examined Osteen's provocative views, another issue arose. This would test compassion and leadership. Could a megachurch pass the ultimate test, helping amid a major disaster? Hope meets trouble. Houstonians were in jeopardy on August 27th when Joel Osteen's Lakewood Church was scandalized, shaking his massive ministry. Okay, folks, you can sit. I feel lucky to have you at Lakewood. Like water-carrying rubbish, claims spread swiftly. Houston's largest remained closed during its troubles. The preacher originally asked his 6 million Twitter followers to pray for Texas after the hurricane. Many on social media responded, "You can do better." Thousands of needy individuals watched, believing a church that talked about gifts and help could help them. The church's initial response was confusing. Made no sense. John Gray, another preacher, said they would let us in if we could get there. At the same time, church spokesman Don Ioff stated the floods were 1 foot from the floodgates. It didn't look right. Photos emerged showing Lakewood Church unharmed by the flood, which raised questions about the church's true state and community service. Osteen's team defended themselves fast. They denied the church was shuttered, saying it was always open. But we were ready when needed. Lakewood is always open. There weren't enough people the night it rained. The fact that they didn't want to shelter people due to unsafe water made them more unpopular. Not just one issue bothered them. It exhibited more animosity at a wealthy religious group that didn't grasp real-world problems. The preacher of God's gifts and prosperity, Osteen didn't seem willing to help when there was a real issue. Smaller churches and even ordinary folks who give their homes to aid. Compared to that, Osteen's vast, climate-controlled church seemed indifferent. The controversy showed that Osteen's message of hope was not backed by neighborhood aid. You gain power you didn't realize you possessed when you turned to God in challenging circumstances. We noticed several people gather. Thousands of church personnel left, actually. His teachings on blessings and heavenly help didn't appear to resonate with the church. The weeks after the disaster saw Lakewood Church finally get many volunteers. They established shelters and received aid. But for many, they regarded the church differently after waiting to act. Flood controversy was key. The question went beyond one church's response. It was about demonstrating true community leadership in difficult times. Theologians and community leaders questioned the prosperity gospel's claims. Despite having millions, it couldn't support its people immediately amid a crisis. What did that say about company values? Osteen constantly preached optimism and solutions. The church's first response to persons in need seemed to contradict its values. Houston's flood was more than bad. It became a moral and religious time. For a prominent U.S. religious figure, one question persisted during cleanup and remake. Real emergency kindness, what does it look like? As the flood news tarnished Osteen's reputation, a deeper concern surfaced. Why do so many Americans doubt this large church leader? Why are people growing upset with a preacher who shares hope? Joel Osteen goes beyond Christian leadership. He symbolizes unfair economic situations that worry many Americans. Leaders are expected to live modestly, care for others, and be sensitive. Osteen's approach defies expectations. His large church, which now resembles a theme park, cost $100 million to renovate. No religious images are on the vividly colored ceiling. It feels more like a business than a spiritual place. Many find that annoying. Huge quantity. His church earns $43 million and $30 million by mail. His publications, which are printed lectures, are profitable. This goes beyond success. Companies make lots of money. Osteen's hope selling makes him more contentious. Religious and positive thinking can improve your life, he argues. This may motivate some, but it may seem insensitive to those in true need. Many religious individuals believe Osteen is part of a harmful trend that simplifies spiritual truths into brief, uplifting messages for personal achievement. His theme is that behavior, not society, determines success. Not having money, but making and flaunting it is immoral. Successful job is different from affluent church leadership. Osteen's followers think he inspires. Critics see a bigger issue, a religious leader who invested in a business and prioritizes profit over charity. Americans still debate faith and fairness. Joel Osteen remains in the news, exhibiting the good and terrible of the American dream. A broader concern arose as more people criticized Osteen's money and message. How do religious leaders explain world misery if money and positive outlook constitute spiritual success? Being rich, the prosperity gospel goes beyond religion. This belief states faith leads to achievement, but doesn't explain how to handle life's challenges. The prosperity gospel is clear and enticing. God wants everyone healthy, wealthy, and happy. From this perspective, faith is a deal. Good things will happen if you believe. Such logic fails when things go wrong in real life. Child cancer, what does it mean? How does it mean? How does it console bereaved or impoverished families? Many religious scholars argue the prosperity gospel corrupts thinking. Being informed everything happens for a purpose can make people assume their spiritual mistakes cause their sorrow. It may be bad. Blames those facing unchangeable circumstances. Some in the movement believe anybody can be great, but this is flawed. Why do so many religious people struggle if faith brings luck? This approach simplifies complex concepts. It makes success seem mathematical, not a deeper learning, growing, and strengthening path. Traditional religions consider pain as a normal aspect of life that can help people comprehend, care for, and grow. However, the prosperity gospel claims that positive thinking can cure negative things, preventing suffering. Say this view doesn't understand spiritual lessons. You can't eliminate issues to progress spiritually. Instead, learn to handle problems with kindness, strength, and others' aid. The prosperity gospel struggles to explain natural evil, which is unavoidable misery, storms, earthquakes, etc. Sickness doesn't seem to be tied to actions or decisions. Faith may protect people from harm or give them ultimate control. These events cast doubt on that assumption. Bad things happening for no reason make you question faith. This mindset can be harmful. It can prevent individuals from thinking critically, neglecting broader issues, and getting to know each other since it implies everyone can succeed. The prosperity gospel blends religious principles with the desire to make money to produce a faith focused on money, which some feel is particularly American. Since it's young, the movement can grow. People will undoubtedly ask questions about its primary principles and strive to understand faith, pain, and life. I believe Jesus is God's Son. My King, he rose from the dead. His Christian faith reminds me of mine. The prosperity gospel remains popular despite faith's constant change. It makes spiritual people think hard about faith, happiness, and spirituality. While discussing the wealth gospel, a more interesting story unfolded. How a college dropout becomes America's most watched speaker. Joel Osteen went from TV director behind the scenes to global spiritual leader. What changed? Megachurch leader's extraordinary ascension. 9 years ago, few knew Joel Osteen. Not even as Houston churchgoers, he quit college to produce his dad's TV ministry, far from the fame he would later receive. Everything changed when his father, Pastor Joel Osteen, died. Strange things happened as Joel walked in front of the camera. His preaching was more like an inspirational lecture, beginning to hold attention better than a lecture. Joel Osteen's church sessions were modern in prayer. God doesn't always guide us accurately. Bible says everything works out for the best. It felt different from religious meetings. His services resembled a rock concert and a motivational event, unlike many churches. Uplifting music, strong themes, and a fun, dynamic atmosphere were the focus. No crosses, religious icons, or other church signs were present. Instead, the atmosphere was pleasant and modern, emphasizing inspiration over protocol. Focusing on hope, personal growth, and support in a fun, easy-to-get-to setting helped individuals get to know each other. Osteen's service's distinctive manner attracted thousands of people seeking a different perspective on faith and spirituality. Jesus said there will be offenses not might, if so, you're good. Be courteous and no one will damage you. Numbers are cool. Osteen moved from nearly no viewers to 7 million weekly. His services are watched in 100 countries, making him the most watched U.S. Christian TV personality. What was different about his methods? Osteen created an optimistic place. His service wasn't required. They were thrilled to arrive. They are diverse in ethnicity, religion, and background. Meet Joel Osteen queues formed in Pasadena this afternoon. This weekend, he's promoting his new book and performing 2 sold-out Forum gigs in Inglewood. People cheered and celebrated in excitement. His message was straightforward but powerful. No matter your background, God has a magnificent plan for you. No matter what they did or where they were, he told them God had a plan for them that could take them somewhere they never imagined possible. His services were laid out differently than typical religious programs. A disused basketball court was converted into a large prayer space with color-changing lights. It felt more like a show than religion, not simply pastor. He doesn't wish to judge or punish. Instead, he wants to improve them. He said they should go as better fathers, husbands, and drug-free people. His first 2 books were instant hits, and his third received a $13 million advance. His books are interesting because they read like how-to instructions rather than religious compositions. They emphasize personal growth and happiness. My new book is out. It's Think Better, Live Better. Basically, your life will reflect your thinking. That terrible thinking can't coexist with a pleasant existence. So, being here with all these people, critics believe his strategy is too simple. Many of his supporters disagree. Many claim Osteen restored their faith, saved their marriages, and gave them hope in hard times. It was amazing meeting him. Many health issues plagued me. Watching him on TV was nice. It was fantastic being here. Interesting portion about family business. His mother, brother, and sister preach in church, creating an innovative family-focused church organization. From behind-the-scenes TV director to global spiritual leader, Joel Osteen has changed dramatically. It emphasizes the need of talking, giving ideas, and understanding mental needs. A deeper question emerged as Osteen's spectacular rise and effect were seen worldwide. Why does this man's ambition transcend beyond cameras and crowds? What happens when the lecture ends and the lights go out? Joel Osteen proposed it. When the cameras are off and the vast church is empty, Joel Osteen finds life easier and more personal. He discusses more than family. He lives for it. Artist was born in Houston, one of 6 children of John Osteen and Dolores Pilgrim. His father founded Lakewood Church behind a feed store. Osteen is senior minister. Father was Southern Baptist pastor. He graduated from Humble High in 1981. His next stop was Oral Roberts University in Tulsa, Oklahoma, to study radio and TV communications, but he didn't graduate. He returned to Houston in 1982 from Oral Roberts. His father's church qualified him as a preacher in 1983, and he started Lakewood's TV show. Osteen assisted his father on TV lectures for 17 years until his heart attack and death in January 1999. Osteen lectured initially on January 7, 1999. On October 3rd, he became Lakewood Church's senior pastor. His family is his closest. For him, Alex, Jonathan, his wife, and 2 children are more than family. He gets the most love and encouragement. They keep his personal life private because he spends most of his leisure time with them. Osteen understands leadership. His obligation is strong every Sunday. He says he sometimes feels he must motivate everyone. It's been a while since the adversary tried to distract me from God's work. Make sure he assists people. Preparing for his talk involves more than writing. You need anecdotes, the correct tone, and an engaging message to do this. He admits he requires captivating tales to engage audiences.